And Gina, weather in Calgary on St. Patrick's Day can be all over the place. We've had snow in previous years, but today we got warm, windy conditions.
Yeah, you kind of can't have one without the other. The wind really helped fuel our temperatures today, but boy, was it ever windy out there. We saw gusts at the airport earlier today at around 65 kilometers an hour. Looking at our wind right now in the city, I mean, great temperature, 15 degrees right now. Managed to get to a high of 16, but gusty still at around 50 kilometers an hour. And we're in good company. Many areas in southern Alberta are dealing with this Chinook event right now. You can kind of make out that Chinook arch on the screen here, which I love when that happens on the radar satellite, extending all the way down into the States and just a little bit above Calgary before the conditions kind of change there. But looking at the next 24 hours, brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen, family owned, community driven. Discover more at Fifth Avenue Volkswagen. More of the same heading into midweek here, Ian, with temperatures improving up to 17 degrees tomorrow.
So, Gina, we are in that time of year where you're looking forward to spring, and it officially begins later this week, too.
Yeah, it already feels like it out there, but don't let that deceive you. We know how spring works in Alberta. I mean, look at those camping visuals. Many people are probably itching to get outdoors, especially when I show you the temperatures for the next couple of days here. But there's going to be a messy mix on our doorstep, too, by the time the weekend comes around. Great looking shot there of the Chinook setup that we've been experiencing today, and that trend with the Chinook isn't going anywhere for the next couple of days. And look at our wind speeds right now. Near Pincher Creek, closer to the mountains there along the foothills. Gusts in the 90s right now. Us in the city, we're seeing those gusts out of the west in the 50s. Earlier today, picking up into the 60s, while Lethbridge, their peak gust was during the 1 o'clock hour with a reported westerly wind of 98 kilometers an hour. So we do see some wind warnings still in effect, yellow level wind warnings for areas both to the south and the west of us because of these breezy conditions. But it's that wind that's really helping with our temperatures. Take a look at those gorgeous temperatures in the south right now. We're sitting at 15 degrees. We got to 16 earlier this afternoon. We were getting pretty darn close to at least meeting the previous temperature record set back in 1885, which was 17.8 degrees. We might have the chance to get temperatures close to 18 degrees for the next couple of days because of these westerly winds. I mean, look at Brooks. They could get up to 20 degrees tomorrow. Medicine Hat wasn't too far behind. So Chinooks today, tomorrow, and even into Thursday. But this is what's going on to the west of us. We have an atmospheric river here that's right along the jet stream. Right now, pushing precipitation to the south of us. But this low pressure system is going to deepen over the next couple of days. And when that happens, this nice ridge that has been sending in this warm wind for us and driving up our temperatures is going to start to flatten out the jet stream. That's what takes place on Saturday, and it's kind of hard to gauge in this upper air pattern exactly what happens with that, but we do know a lot of precipitation has moved in, and these cooler temperatures that will arrive in Calgary by the time Saturday comes around will likely bring the potential for a rain-snow mix situation. A short-lived one, but temperatures will dip after the first day of spring there on Friday to the freezing mark, and then we start to gradually pick up from there. I actually have Saturday on our next 5-day forecast here, brought to you by Action Furnace, a little bit warmer. We're actually going to see, I mean, it's not updating, but I actually believe the high on Saturday will be 2 degrees. So in the positives, but that can make things even dicier when it comes to precipitation and how it will fall. But before then, gorgeous temperatures, 17 tomorrow and Thursday. And then the first day of spring looking not too shabby with a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 11.
It's one of those days where you look west and you see that beautiful Chinook arch.
Or you have a really bad headache if you're sensitive to the pressure changes. Yes, and not really changing on the Chinook front for a couple of days here, but that's really helped with our temperatures. We're sitting at 15 right now. Managed to get to a high of 16 today, so trending well above seasonal. And take a look at the time on the screen there. We're getting pretty close to 12 hours of daylight. That will happen on Friday, which is the first day of spring. The spring solstice, and it's going to be a pretty good looking couple of days here to wrap up winter and begin Friday evening with a high of 11 degrees, but then it all changes on Saturday. Get back to some cooler temperatures and conditions.
We don't have to worry about that tonight. It's beautiful out there, Gina. The snow's melting.
There's nothing that I can see when it comes to snow on the screen behind me here. We have a Chinook setup in place, and it's sticking around for a couple of days, and it helped drive our temperatures up into the mid-teens for this St. Patrick's Day. Managed to get to a high of 16 degrees, but you could notice the wind there gusting into the 50s, and that's what we're seeing on your wind speed contour here. So it's going to be a couple of days of warm but windy conditions. You can see the little Chinook arch there quite nicely. Over the next 24 hours, cooling nicely too, with a low of just 5 degrees tonight, so into the positives, and then we're right back into the mid-teens by tomorrow, Tara.
Thank you, Gina. Gina's back with us now to look ahead to our 5-day forecast. It's pretty terrific.
Yeah, I mean, it already looks like spring out there, but I guess that season doesn't officially start till Friday, so we'll take this as a little preview. But we have to keep in mind with March weather, we get a couple of days of consistency, and then it all starts to flip around. The consistency we'll be dealing with for the next couple of days here are the winds that you're seeing on the screen here, which are quite strong right now, but they're coming from a westerly direction that's bringing the warmth. So yes, it's gusty out there in Pincher Creek, gusts up to 78 kilometers an hour right now. Here in the city in the mid-40s. Lethbridge earlier today saw peak gusts of about 98 kilometers an hour right during that 1 o'clock hour this afternoon. For us in Calgary, our strongest winds were during the morning in the 9 o'clock hour there. Airport reporting gusts of 65 kilometers an hour. So not quite strong enough for us to be involved in this yellow level wind warning, but areas to the west of us and to the south are under it right now, with those gusts continuing to be anywhere from 90 to 100 kilometers an hour for the next few hours. The winds will subside in some areas overnight, but pick up right again by tomorrow. But the temperatures that we get from these westerlies are quite fantastic. 15 right now in the city. We managed to get to a high of 16 degrees today, getting us close to a previous temperature record set on this day back in 1885. 11 right now in Red Deer. Yeah, many areas in the mid-teens currently. Tomorrow's highs even warmer, to up to 17 degrees for us in Calgary. Same if you're joining us in Lethbridge. Radar satellite, though, showing that cloud coverage moving in, and on the windward side of the Rockies there, so to the west of us, precipitation moving in as well. So if you are joining us closer to those higher elevations, you will see some precipitation fall tonight in the form of rain and or snow. So certainly Banff seeing a good amount of precipitation overnight tonight and into the early morning hours. Cranbrook, the East Kootenay area, also dealing with precipitation for the next several days as well. Taking a look at your Action Furnace 5-day forecast here. Tomorrow, much of the same when it comes to those winds out of the west at 40 to 60 kilometers an hour, but we'll crank up the sunshine a little bit more, so that's going to help with that gorgeous high of 17 degrees. Same on Thursday, expected to be pretty breezy as well. While the first day of spring, a minor dip in the temperatures, but still benefiting with above seasonal conditions with a nice high of 11 for the first day of spring.
Okay, well, we showed you earlier how Calgarians are marking St. Patrick's Day. Let's go right to the source tonight. This was the crowd a few hours ago outside the famous Temple Bar in Dublin. This pub's 200 years old. It is well known worldwide for its massive whiskey selection and its live music. It is packed most nights, but things really spill out onto the street on St. Paddy's Day. And then, of course, the annual St. Patrick's Day parade also wound its way through the streets of Dublin today, to the delight of thousands of people who lined up to watch.
I was telling you, Tara, earlier, I'm like, it's a Tuesday.
Yes.
And this is the turnout. Could you imagine? I mean, Ireland, they're going to show up no matter what.
Absolutely.
But it's been bumping here, too. People might be a little green for another reason tomorrow.
There'll be a hurting Wednesday happening for sure. Well, we can all agree that teachers have a tough job, but especially when they can't understand their students. Listen closely.
Then after this, start by now you can steal the bacon.
All I heard was steal the bacon.
That's what I heard too. The last word, steal the bacon. I don't know what he was talking about. This is Mr. Archelangelo. He's a kindergarten phys ed teacher. Obviously, his kid's still learning how to speak clearly. It's a work in progress. You got to guess sometimes.
Hey, I'm still working on it. So
it might have been some phys ed game where you steal the bacon. Hey, I don't know.
If it's not, it should be.
So that's a way to keep kids interested, for sure. Well, the phrase sleeping like a baby means getting a good night's sleep, but in reality, this is what a sleeping baby looks like. Yeah, they're all over the place. These parents wanted to make sure their baby was having sweet dreams when they put him to bed.
Oh.
The video showed something else. I mean, he was fully asleep, but it almost was like he was doing a little dance routine there all over the crib all night long.
The perfect music for it. That's my favorite pose.
As long as he didn't wake up, that's fine.
There you go.
Doesn't matter. Yep.
Welcome back. Seeing that Chinook over our Skywatch weather camera right now. It was a gusty day out there, but a warm one as well. I don't think many people were complaining when it comes to St. Patrick's Day festivities. Managed to get to a high of 16 degrees, pretty close to that record that was set back on this day all the way back in 1885. Tomorrow we'll have chances to get into the 17-degree territory, maybe even warmer when we look at the next 24 hours here, brought to you by Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Tonight, staying in the positives with a low of 5 degrees, picking it up to 17 degrees tomorrow. I believe the daily temperature record for tomorrow was somewhere in the 18-degree range. So again, there is that potential to even surpass that tomorrow as well. Those winds are actually going to be a little stronger from the west tomorrow afternoon, probably more like 40 to 60 kilometers an hour, very similar to the wind speeds we saw today. In fact, those winds are still pretty gusty right now, so we have some yellow level wind warnings to the west of us and to the south of us, including the Lethbridge area and regions close to the foothills there, with those winds gusting anywhere from 90 to 100 kilometers an hour. So we're seeing the Chinook on the screen right now. What's happening to the west of us is we have this atmospheric river pretty close to where the jet stream is positioned and a low pressure system. Those are working together to bring a lot of precipitation to areas to the west of us in BC. We're protected by this ridge of high pressure, but by Saturday, as this advances, that's when we'll start to cool off and get some mixed precipitation back into the forecast. It'll drive the temperatures down to below seasonal, and then we just hover around that 5-degree temperature norm for the following week. But the days leading up to spring here are looking fabulous in the double digits.
Back to Team Canada tonight. Okay, final peek of the weather, Gina.
Yes, and I'd be remiss if I didn't go with a St. Patrick's Day theme. We actually got a shout out here. This is Seamus wishing our viewers a happy St. Pat's. He's got the hat, the bow tie, and of course the Guinness. Darren sending this into us through our text line 10400 for our weather window, brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Now, if you partake in the festivities tonight and you're feeling a little green tomorrow, some good amount of vitamin D in store for Wednesday. Some strong winds once again out of the west, 40 to 60 kilometers an hour, but that helps us get to that high of 17 degrees. Thursday is looking very similar. Ridge of high pressure bringing in those Chinook winds, and once again seeing a temperature in the mid to high teens for Thursday. And that first day of spring is looking fantastic as well, Tara. Mix of sun and cloud with a high of 11. And then, of course, it wouldn't be spring in Calgary if we didn't have a rain-snow mix the very following day.
Do you think all that bright sunshine is going to help a hangover tomorrow? I don't know.
Maybe have the sunglasses.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.